Sorry. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ruirui, and I'm a graduate student of North University of China, and I have been working on SERS device for 1 year. The subject of my presentation is a high-sensitive SERS device. Today, on behalf of my colleagues, I would like to introduce some detailed information on the device. This is the outline of my talk. In the first part, I'm going to show you the research motivation of the work. Surface enhanced Raman scattering is a new technology of fingerprint recognition and non-deductive detection, and have been used in a lot of fields, including chemistry, biology, material science, and so on. We list several typical applications of SERS. And the first picture, is showing the residues detection. Is showing a drug delivery method by SERS, and the second picture is showing the pesticide residues detection on an apple by SERS. And the third picture is for quantitative SERS-based DNA detection. SERS is discovered in the 1970s, and it is primarily associated with the substrate composed of nanostructured noble metals. Meanwhile, SERS has some advantages. For example, the fingerprint recognition, non-deductive detection, and highly sensitive moderate condition in the process of detections. To date, lots of fabrication methods of SERS substrates have been researched by subtracting noble metal nanoparticles on nanopillars. The subject can be prepared. After etching the silicon using nanospheres as a template, noble metal nanoparticles are subtracted on the structures, and it is also a method for fabricating SERS substrate. And also the metal nanoparticles aggregation or sampling and growth of metal nanoparticles on nanoimprinter pillars, and so on. These methods are helpful for SERS detections. However, these SERS substrates still have some problems, like complex fabrication process, time-consuming, and difficult to control structure uniformly, high cost, and poor repeatability, and so on. So we have to fabricate some advanced SERS substrate which can overcome these problems. So requirements in advanced SERS substrate are vessel fabrication process, time-saving, higher sensitivities, low cost, and high repeatability. And a lot of research groups are trying to do this, and our group is one of them. This is the second part. This is the fabrication process of our SERS substrate. It's a two-state fabrication process, and the first process is the chemical vapor deposition of PDMS, and the second process is metal sampling. In the first step, cured PDMS was used as an evaporation source, and the glycoside was used deposition substrate. Sintering stove with oxygen atmosphere at a temperature of 410 centigrade for a few hours. And after the centering stove cooled down to room temperature, the cylinder was deposited with a layer of oligoma nanochains like this. Later on, a 30 nanometer silver nanofilm was deposited on the oligoma nanochains. Thus, only the top surface, surface of the nanochains exploded to the atmosphere was covered with silver. Meanwhile, silver-covered nano gaps was also formed on the solid substrate. In this way, SERS substrate was prepared, and the silver-covered oligoma nanoparticles are named as MOS. We named the this is the SEM images of the oligoma nanochains and the MOS. From the pictures, you can see the general distribution of oligoma nanochains. Oligoma nanoparticles are stacked on each other to form nanochains, and a typical oligoma nanoparticle is about 500 nanometer. After subtracting a liter of silver on the oligoma nanoparticles, the top surface of them are blanketed with a silver nanofilm. As you can see, an obvious boundary line can be on the oligoma nanoparticles can be observed, like the red line and the white line. And the distribution of silver on the silver nanoparticles on the oligoma nanoparticles is randomly scattered. And with the low surface energy of the material and plenty of subvertical chain-like structures in wide scale range, the substrate of PDMS-CVD are superhydrophobic. Owing to the silver nanoparticles are too small to affect the superhydrophobicity of the substrate, so the SERS substrate is also superhydrophobic. And with the property, we prepared a SERS droplet. The SERS substrate prepared using the aforementioned process represents a high water contact angle and a small solid angle. Once providing a slight tilting angle to the SERS substrate, the droplet will roll down easily. And as the force corresponding to van der Waals interaction between the oligoma nanoparticles as the force comprehending to van der Waals interaction between the oligoma nanoparticles are much smaller than the pressure force of the droplet, it will lead to the nanochains broken. And with the rolling process of droplet, since the silver has a high surface tense than PDMS, and the MONS might easily be absorbed into the droplet, and the MONS in the droplet can be well mixed with the analyte nano molecules. Thus, a SERS droplet with 3D hotspots is achieved. And about the performance of the SERS droplet, after preparing the SERS droplet, we researched the performance. Firstly, we dripped the R6G droplet onto the SERS substrate, and the incident laser was focused on the interface between the droplet and the substrate surface. and the red curve is the SERS spectral. Then we providing a slight tilting angle to the SERS substrate for rolling the droplet. After rolling for a while, the droplet was captured at a certain position. Afterwards, the laser was carefully incident onto the droplet, and the blue curve shows the SERS spectral. From the result, we can see the signal of the rolled R6G droplet is stronger than that of the original R6G droplet. Take the Raman incentives at a with number of 610 as an example. The signal intensity after rolling is about 27 times higher than the signal before to rolling at a with number of 610. And the fifth part. After that, we also researched the enrichment effect of the droplet. The picture demonstrates the whole process of the enrichment. As we mentioned above, R6G droplet was dripped onto the SERS substrate. After rolling process, a SERS droplet with 3D hotspots was formed, and the droplet was captured at a certain position. Then the solvent of droplet was evaporated. Because the superhydrophobic of the substrate, the droplet will shrink during the evaporation process. So the enrichment of R6G molecules was obtained. Then we can continue the detection, and the left inset shows the interaction personal reaction of hotspots and R6G molecules. After that, we had different droplets for the detection, and the high concentration droplet on a regular sided is for comparison, like the red line, red curve, and we can see that the curve is for the detection, and the intensity is just about 700 from the left Y axis. However, for the 100 nanomole droplet, the intensity is about 10,000. These results proved the 3D distribution of the hotspots and molecules can greatly enhance the SERS signals, and in the future, the lower limitation of detection can be obtained in the future. And here is a simple summary of our work. Firstly, a novel PDMS-CVD method for preparing superhydrophobic SERS substrate is proposed. And secondly, SERS droplet with 27 times higher enhancement factor is obtained by rolling a droplet on the SERS substrate. And the analyte molecules and the 3D hotspots can further be reached by evaporating the rolled SERS droplet. And the easy prepared low cost and high sensitive SERS device can be applied to a wider variety of chassis analysis. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge the findings from government and universities. And thanks for your attention.